Hi there, I'm William Mack coming from our Cake Lab in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into how power is delivered in USB-C power delivery. First, let me introduce you to KEMET's automotive DC to DC solution for USB-C power delivery, the KAIC USB-C 01 Rev 1. I still haven't learned my lesson on naming my boards yet, but this board will be our guide in understanding USB-C power delivery. USB charging and USB-C power delivery are two very different things. For starters, the latest version of USB-C power delivery requires a USB-C cable, and this is because of two new communication pins that USB connectors don't currently have. Classic USB chargers are typically between 5 watts and 12 watts, while standards such as Qualcomm's Quick Charge provide higher output power that is often used for faster battery charging. Meanwhile, USB-C power delivery can supply up to 100 watts, which can do way more than just fast battery charging. To do this, devices supporting USB power delivery communicate over the channel configuration pins to set the voltage and current level that the power device desires. And these levels can be 5 volts, 9 volts, 15 volts, or 20 volts. This means you can have one charger for all your devices. A laptop can charge at 20 volts and 5 amps, while phones can step through different voltages and currents to maximize charging efficiency. As an added bonus, USB-C PD supports dual row ports, which allows a port to switch between syncing or sourcing power. In other words, you can charge your laptop with a USB-C port and then charge your phone using that same port. This makes the USB-C power delivery standard a very robust way to power a wide range of different devices. We've all seen USB chargers. Most will only be suitable for charging your cell phone or some low power device. But this guy here, he can deliver
100 watts of power.
This board takes 12 volts to run and consists of 3 major parts: the USB-C port, the USB-C power delivery detection, and the DC to DC 4-switch buck boost regulator. This board was also based off a TI board designed for an automotive application in mind, so we have a reverse polarity circuit made for it too. But we'll save that for another video. Let's bring up the USB-C connector pinout and see what we've got. Wow, we've come a long way from the 4 pins on a standard USB port. If you look closely, you'll see that the pins are all mirrored. That's a major feature of USB-C, as it makes the plug reversible, so you don't have to worry about plug orientation. You can also see the channel configuration pins, CC1 and CC2. These are used for power delivery negotiation. I won't cover that in detail in this video, but if you want to hear more about how it works, then comment and like this video. The next major piece of this board is the USB-C power delivery controller. This uses the TI-LM5176 4-switch buck boost controller. I chose this part for a few reasons. It's really easy to control the operating frequency and output voltage, and you don't need an external microcontroller or any software to use it. In fact, the only pins that the controller IC needs are the CC pins, V-bus, and ground, which is the bare minimum you need for USB power delivery. This SMPS can switch between boost or buck modes on the fly, converting the 12-volt input to the target output by using 4 MOSFETs to control the current flow in the inductor. Let's head over to the oscilloscope and take a look. Alright, so in front of us we have the USB-C power delivery board. We have the USB-C power delivery controller, which will allow us to switch between 5 volts, 9 volts, 15 volts, and 20 volts. And we also have 3 of the switching MOSFETs connected to the oscilloscope. And we have a current probe connected to our inductor. The yellow and green trace are connected to the input MOSFETs leading to the inductor. And one of the MOSFETs is connected to the power supply, which is the input power, and the other is connected to ground. And they turn on and off in alternating fashion in order to supply current and sink current from the inductor. And then the other side of the inductor, which is the blue trace on the oscilloscope, is connected to the USB-C output. This is how power gets delivered to our USB device. In the pink trace, we can see that the current ramps up and down corresponding to whether the MOSFET is being connected to the source, voltage, or ground. If the device wants 15 or 20 volts, we'll have to set our PD to deliver 20 volts. And now our switching MOSFETs has changed, so we'll switch over to the proper ones. And we can see now that the 12-volt source is always connected to the inductor, and meanwhile the two output MOSFETs, which is one is connected to the USB device and one is connected to ground on the output side of the inductor, is now switching on and off, which is pretty much the opposite of what you saw with a buck regulator. But you can still see that the current ramps up and down still, corresponding to which MOSFET is turning on, whether it's the ground one or the output MOSFET. That's a pretty good primer on how USB-C and power delivery work. Next time we'll use this board to show you how we can optimize performance with the inductor and output capacitors. For more information on this topic, log on to our newly redesigned website, engineeringcenter.com. Coming to you from our Cake Lab in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, I'm William Mack, and remember to stay curious.